on the East Coast, and I don't even know about the West Coast. There's a whole bunch of different time zones over there. But welcome everybody to the final course for Better Life U. We're really excited about tonight. My name's Ted Snyder, and I've been taking this course along with you guys this entire time. But I am extremely honored to be able to kind of get you guys all amped up and ready for our final teacher tonight, Mr. Bill Guyther. You've seen him on the calls before, and probably you were here for the first one when he spoke as well. But just to remind you, he's currently right now making a six-figure residual passive income in his with his business. He's a published author, and he owns a few other businesses as well. And he is going to be talking tonight about the law of associations, which, I can't think of a better person to be able to talk about this, because getting to know him over the past year and a half or so, as I have been very blessed and honored to be able to, it's very clear that he's somebody who understands this and has experienced the benefits of following the law of associations and making sure that's an important part of his life. So I'm just really, really pumped to hear what he has to say about it, and especially how to, take full advantage of the law of associations and what that can mean for our lives, for our businesses, for our finances, and all that stuff. So, Bill, I'm going to pass this call on over to you, and we're going to go ahead and get started.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Mr. Snyder, and welcome everybody to the final night of our inaugural week of Better Life U. And I hope that so far this week it has been worth your time. And I think that we've delivered. I feel like we've delivered great content, and I hope that you feel the same way, because really that is what we're all about, is just giving people the knowledge and the tools and the foundational success principles that they can apply into their current day-to-day to help them build a better life. That's what it's all about. So, you guys have all come back here tonight for this final course, and I'm excited about this one because, this is the one that we're going to bring everything this week that we talked about together and really just let you see how powerful what we gave you really is and how it all works together. So, as he said, my name is Bill Guyther, and just to do a quick little recap, Monday, I talked to you guys about your why, right? Identifying why it is that you want to have and build a better life. And, I had some conversations with some people from that, really digging down into, what your why is. And it's so important to be able to identify that. And one thing that I figured out with some conversations that I had this week is that you don't want to mistake your why for a goal. They're two very different things, okay? And you may say, hey, I want to buy a house by this time, and this is why I want to do it, so I can get this house. But that's a goal, right? Why do you want to have the house? Why is that important? And you have to ask yourself that question, why? With basically everything. Why do you want to have the house? Well, because I want to be a homeowner. Well, why do you want to be a homeowner? Well, because if I buy a house by this time, I'll be, 25 years old and a homeowner, and I don't know many people at my age that have bought their own house. Okay, well, why is it important for you to, be a homeowner by that age, unlike everybody else? Well, because, I want to set the standard. I want to show people that you can do it, okay? And you really have to dig down and ask yourself why, to get to the heart and the core of why that's important to you. So just to recap, there's a difference between your why and a goal. And I hope that you guys have taken some time and really, put some time into your why, because it is important for you to know that. It's important for you to have identified that and make sure that, when that day comes and you go, man, I don't even know why I'm doing this, that you have a very clear answer to that. Because not having an answer when you ask yourself that question is when people quit. And we don't want you to quit on yourself. We want you to have a better life. So that was Sunday night. Monday night, we had Miss Kim Melia came in, talked about mindset versus skill set. Okay, great training. The reality is Your mindset is 80% of your success, and your skill set is 20%. Okay, you can learn the skills to do whatever it is that you want to do, but until you have your mind right, until you got, you know, that I can't be stopped attitude, right? That dedication that you're going to get it done. Nothing else matters. You know, you have to have the right mindset. And I've met some really smart people. You know, they have degrees and they do, you know, done okay in life that, you know, are just doing okay in life. And I've met some people with literally a 6th grade education that have changed, that have excelled beyond, you know, your imagination. How is that possible? It's the mindset. Okay, that's what it is. So that's what we went over on Monday night with Miss Kim Mealy. She did a phenomenal job. Tuesday night, we had her business partner, Mr. Mike Mealy. He came in and talked about setting and achieving goals. Okay, again, not to be confused with your why. And goals can be, you know, anything. I mean, they can be anything, you know, health-wise, spirituality. They can be business, finances, relationship. And we want, you know, your better life to be a whole better life, right? We're not just here talking about business. You know, we're here talking about life. And all the things that we're giving you here this week are to help you build a better life as a whole, okay? Not just business related stuff. All right, so, you know, make sure that you have those goals. Make sure that they're clear. Make sure that they're specific. Make sure that they're written down. Make sure that you've posted them somewhere you can see them, you know, and remind yourself of them on the daily basis. So very important. And then begin with the end in mind, right? Begin with the end in mind and work your way back on your goals to what you have to do every day. Because if you'll do that, right, if you set your goal for, hey, and I'm just going to use finances just because it's an easy example. Hey, I want to make $12,000, you know, this year part-time, extra $12,000 on top of my job and doing whatever, you know, this year by the end, of the year, and say you're starting January 1, then you would break that down. Okay, well, that means I need to do $1,000 a month, right? That means I need to do $250 a week. That means that, you know, what's 250 divided by 7, whatever that comes out to be, I need to earn this extra amount of money every day. And if you break it down to what you have to do every day, I mean, you know, somebody tell me, hey, Google, what's 250 divided by 7?
The answer is approximately 35.714.
Okay, so $35 a day. 35 extra dollars a day. Puts an extra $12,000 a year. Now, you know, you might be thinking 12,000, that's a lot, you know, part-time above your job and stuff like that. But when you break it down, begin with the end in mind and break it down, now it's like, man, I just got to make an extra $35 a day, right? Could you have a yard sale one day and make an extra $35? Could you, you know, go out and help somebody and cut their grass and make an extra $35? Or, you know, when you really break it down, it makes it more attainable, right? And as soon as you can believe it, again, back to your mindset, as soon as you can believe that that's possible, then it becomes possible. Okay, so break it down. Begin with the end in mind and break it down to your daily, because once you meet your daily goal, then you're going to meet your weekly, monthly, annual, all that good stuff, all right? So Mike Mealy delivered for us well. Last night, Mr. Chip Humphrey out of Florida came in and talked about the importance of personal development, right? And we got some great nuggets from him about, you know, how you really have to be able to, you know, withstand the things that you're going to, you know, have come at you. And these are the things where, you know, if you're not, and I don't remember the exact words, but he was talking about, you know, if you're not able to withstand what's going to hit you, then that's a lack of personal development. You have to be prepared for that, right? It's being personally developed is going to give you the thicker skin to, you know, overcome the things that are going to come your way. So, but it really is, you know, the key. Now, all of this, and tonight, you know, we're going to talk about your law of associations. Now, before I do that, I just wanted to see, does anybody have any comments from the week that you'd like to share or say as we're finishing up the recap? Does anybody else have anything you'd like to contribute? You can either raise your hand or just unmute yourself and start talking. Ted and Lisa, let's go to you guys.
Yeah, I just wanted to say the whole talk yesterday about personal development. Personal development has been something that I care a lot about and that I've done a lot of, but I always sort of saw it as like just learning, which I mean, it is, right? You're learning new skills, you're learning new, like, ways to approach certain situations and stuff. But like you just mentioned, the building the resilience and the motivation, it clicked with me that personal development is more than just learning skills. Like if I'm lacking in motivation, it's because I'm lacking in personal development. If I'm lacking in my ability to be resilient and bounce back from, hard stuff in life, it's because I'm lacking in personal development. And that was huge for me. So
absolutely, and that's the word I was looking for, resilience. And the reality is, we have to, build that up. I mean, we can't control a lot of things in life, guys. And the only way that we can change the things around us is to change the things inside of us, right? The things that we believe, the things that we see. And, our minds are computers, right? And if you have your computer or your smartphone, you have an app that you put on your phone to make it do something that you want it to do. You have, programs that you put on your computer to make it do the things that you need it to do. Well, your mind is the same way. You just have to install the right programming to get it to help you do the things that you want to do. And it's a pretty simple, philosophy. I mean, our eyes are how we input, our ears, right? Our mouth, and, all the things for health, right? I mean, this is how we input into our body and into our mind and into our soul. And it's the things that you see and the things that you hear and the things that you read and the people that you hang around that really define who you are. And, it's pretty amazing. We'll talk more about that into the law of association. So anybody else with any comments for the week before we get into tonight's topic? Okay, so then let's just go right into it. Law of associations. There's a book called Good to Great. I don't know if you've ever read it. It's not an easy book to read, but it is a very valuable book to read that at some point in your personal development journey, you should read this book, Good to Great. I forget the author's name right now. If somebody knows it, you can put it in the chat. But it's a good book, has great information. But there's a part in there where he's talking about you have to have the right people on the bus with you, right? And what he's talking about is your law of associations. He says you have to have the right people on the bus with you. If your bus is going to go where you want to go, then you have to have the right people on the bus. Now, what he doesn't say, and I like to, yes, Jim Collins, thank you, Ted, is the author of that book, Good to Great. What he doesn't say is you may sometimes have to remove the wrong people off the bus first. And it's just the reality. It's sometimes we have people in our life that bring us down, that don't support what we want. And, your law of associations, it says this: you are a direct result of the 5 people that you hang around the most. Okay, law of association says you're a direct result of the 5 people that you hang around the most. And if you think about that, and you think about your own life, and I know some of you, I don't know some of you, but my bet is if you really think about the people that you hang around the most, you're probably very similar to them, right? You probably live in a very similar type house. You probably drive very similar type cars. You probably earn very similar type income, right? It's just the law of associations. I always, kid people, but it's so true. I say, if you hang around 5 crackheads, chances are you're going to be the 6th crackhead. I mean, that's just the way it's going to work out, right? But if you hang around 5 successful people or 5 wealthy people, the chances are you're going to become the 6th wealthy and successful person. So it really is a kind of a shortcut. If there ever was a shortcut to success in life, it's your law of associations. I'll be honest with you, on the spiritual side, for many years, I really did not believe that I needed to go to church. I was a, spiritual person. I believe in God, higher power, all that stuff. But I just did not believe that I needed to go to church in order to have a personal relationship with God, which you don't. And this is just me talking to you guys. You don't. But I found a church about 4 or 5 years ago that we started going to because I like the pastor, I like the people, and we started, and we've been going pretty religiously ever since then. And what I found is that I personally needed the church for the law of associations. I needed it so I could show up and be around like-minded people, right, that wanted to strengthen their relationship with God, that wanted to learn more about the Bible, that wanted to learn the things in the Bible and how to apply them into their life. And but that only happened for me because of the law of associations, because I put myself in that group. So whatever it is that you want to accomplish, whether you're looking for spiritual growth, or you're looking for financial growth, or you're looking for knowledge growth, or you're looking for relationship growth, the simple shortcut that's going to really get you there the fastest is making sure that your law of associations is correct. And you may have to go out and seek some groups of people that you can surround yourself with that have that same mindset. And here's the good news is with today's world, we have things like meetup.com where you can go in there and see what kind of meetups are going on, or if you don't see one that you're looking for, you can start one, right? Or you have different things that happen in your communities that you can go and be a part of, and you can start building relationships that way. There's a lot of different ways to go and find people. You can start a book club and go do stuff like that, or there's lots of book clubs you can go and join, and but find a group of people, a group of like-minded folks that will support what it is that you are working to accomplish. Because having that support team in place makes all the difference in the world, right? AA works for recovering alcoholics because of the support group, because of the support team. Right? Same thing with, if it's the one that is for drugs, same thing, right? It's the support group around you. They give you the foundational philosophies and all that stuff, but then they put that support group around you, right? They give you a sponsor even. Hey, if you find yourself in a position where, you're thinking about falling off the wagon, you call me, you talk to me, right? This is like a workout partner. If you've ever had a workout partner, in a gym, somebody that's going to drive you to do more, to be more, because you're going to have more, and they're going to pick you up when you fall down, and they're dust you off and stuff like. And it's a two-way street. You have to be the same one. Somebody's going to hold you accountable to going and getting it, right? So finding the right laws of association and meeting the right people is going to be crucial to your success. Now, once you have done all this, and the reason that we're doing law of association tonight is because it really brings everything together to support where you want to go. So, who are your associations now? Do you have the right people on the bus? Do you have to take some people off the bus, right? That's the people that no matter what, and I have some people in my life that I love dearly, but I really had to distance myself from them because they were counterintuitive. Is that right? I don't know if that's the right word, but yeah, okay. So I got a thumbs up from Elizabeth. So, they were just counterproductive. That's the word I'm looking for to what I'm trying to get to. All right. So, it's not that I don't love them and I'm not there for them. And, it's not that I don't talk to them ever, but I limit my association time with those folks. And it's not an easy thing to do, especially if it's somebody that's really close to you, like a spouse, right? I mean, it's tough. If you have a negative spouse you decide, hey, I'm going to go and have a better life in this area of my life or whatever, and they're against you, that can be a really tough situation. All right. And understand that, the only way that people can understand what you're doing is if they come to your side and see the perspective that you have. It could be two people can look at the same exact thing and see two different things. So if that happens, you have to figure that out. It's a tough balance, guys. Nobody ever said that success was easy, right? If succeeding was easy, everybody would succeed at everything that they do. But it's not easy. But it is worth it if you want it bad enough. Right? And if you want something bad enough, you'll find a way. And if you don't, you'll find an excuse. It's really the reason why we made this course where, hey, if you wanted to come on the second course, you had to be on the first And if you wanted to be on the third one, you had to be on the second one. If you wanted to be on the fourth one, you had to be on each one to be able to come to the next one. Why did we do that? Right? Because if you want something bad enough, you'll find a way. If you don't, you'll find an excuse. And I know that there's some people on here tonight, I see some of you, that literally like change your schedule up so you can be here, right? Some of you are at work right now hiding with your AirPods in on this Zoom meeting because it's that important to you, okay? So I know. So you guys that are here tonight are the cream of the crop of the 99 people that pre-registered for the very first course, right? I gave you guys some of the numbers throughout the course of the week. You know, we had 99 pre-register, 63 show up, 51 pre-register, 38 show up, 31 pre-register, 30 showed up. I think today we had 25 or 26 people pre-register for this one, and we got 22 on here. So, you know, that's just the way it goes. And we talked a little bit about that last night. So, you know, work with what you have to work with, but stay committed to it. Your law of associations is that important. Now, again, there's lots of ways that you can go out and find the right people to surround yourself with. If you're talking about, you know, financial success, business success, you know, and a lot of people put success in general with finances, and there's nothing wrong with that, by the way, okay? There is nothing wrong with wanting to make money. There will be people out there that tell you that, oh, you know, you shouldn't be focused on making money, right? I see all the stuff like the memes that go around the internet, and it's got the two holes dug side by side, and it says, oh, you know, it doesn't matter how much money you make, we all end up in the same hole. And you want to know something? That's true. But here's my take on that. It's not about you in the hole. It's about what you leave to the people standing around the hole that matters. Okay? That's important. So for me, it's important. So don't think that when people say things like, oh, money's the root of all evil and money can't buy you happiness. And look, money is just something that makes people more of what they are. Right? If you are a good person and you have money, you're going to be a better person. If you're a bad person and you have money, you're going to be a worse person. So money just makes you more of who you are. And this is, again, why we talk so much this week is about, you know, personal development, about growing as a person, right? And Elizabeth, you're right. I see it in the chat. You know, that quote, just so you guys know, that says, oh, money's the root of all evil, it's a misquote from the Bible, because the quote is actually, it's the love of money that's the root of all evil, right? If you make so much money that you have to, you know, give more away, what's wrong with that? You're tithing more to your church, you're giving more to people in your community, you know, you have time to go and volunteer. That's nothing wrong with that, okay? So money will help free you. It doesn't buy happiness, but it frees you to be happy, right? The trap that we're in, how many of you downloaded and heard my book from Sunday, okay? Did you enjoy that? Did it help put some things in perspective? Right? It's the trap that people are in. I see it with my own daughter, and we talked about it a little bit yesterday. But, you know, she started working just because she wanted to make some money. But then she got a driver's license, and then she had insurance to pay, and then she had a phone bill that she had because she wanted to buy an iPhone, and she had this. Well, now she's working because she has to, not because she wants to. And that's what happens to people. So, you know, money is all in how you use it. Okay, money is all in what you do with it. But don't ever let anybody make you feel bad because you want to go out and build a financial wall of protection around you and your family. I'm going to tell you, I sleep better at night knowing that if I don't wake up tomorrow, the business that I've built, the residual income that I've built will continue without missing a beat to my wife and my daughter. That makes me sleep good at night. That makes me happy. It's not the money. It's what the money does for the people that I care about, if that makes sense to you guys, okay? So I say all that to say this. Lots of ways you can go out and meet people and start, you know, surrounding yourself. But I found that the easiest way to just really put yourself in the middle of a group of success-minded, you know, outgoing, focused, motivated people is to join a direct sales company. And I know some of you on here tonight are a part of a direct sales company. Some of you are not, and that's okay. You know, you may have, you know, another business that you want to apply these principles to. That's fine. I'm not trying to sell you on joining me or anybody else, but I will say this. If somebody that is on here tonight invited you to Better Life U, whoever that person was, if they are involved with a direct sales company and you have come through all 5 of these courses, so here's what that tells us. You're serious about building a better life. You would not have committed these 5 hours unless you were serious about building a better life. So if the person that invited you to Better Life U is involved with a direct sales company and they invite you to continue your education, because the one thing I can tell you about a direct sales company is if they're a good one, then they are going to work on you more than anything, right? A lot of the things, every person that you saw and heard from this week is involved in the direct sales industry. And the things that they learned from that industry, from being in that industry, from the trainings and trainers and seminars and the things like that, that they can automatically plug right into, okay? So I always say to people, look, continue your education, join a direct sales company, because that's like an earn as you learn program. See, the opposite side of it is you go to college and you pay tens of thousands or even hundreds of thousands of dollars to learn. And I'm not knocking college, I'm just saying this is that side, right? You pay all the money to learn and then you hope to go get a job that you're gonna earn that money back. But with something like a direct sales company, you go in there and they start teaching you and you go out and you work with that company and you get paid working with them. So it goes from you paying to learn to you actually getting paid to learn. It's a different perspective, right? It's a different side. And you know, one's not better than the other. I prefer this one, right? I learned more in my direct sales company than I did in any class that I ever was a part of. And I'll just tell you that. Things that you would never learn, right? Things that we taught you here this week, you are not going to get in any formal education. I'm not knocking formal education. I'm not telling you don't go get a degree. I'm just saying they're not going to teach you the things that we've taught you here this week. That's just a reality. So, you know, if somebody invites you, just know that they think highly enough of you, that you came through this, and they now see that you want to build a better life. And I would encourage you just to simply look at what it is that they're doing and have to offer. Your mind is better if it's open. Right? I ask people all the time, you know, if I gave you $5 million to jump out of an airplane without a parachute, would you do it? And the answer I get is no, heck no. $5 million, your family would be well taken care of. No, the airplane I was talking about was sitting on the ground. Oh, what's the purpose of that? You always want to get the facts before you make a decision. Okay, so if that comes to pass for you and somebody invites you to look at their direct sales company, look, just because you look at it doesn't mean it is for you, doesn't mean you have to join it, but always look, evaluate, put your business hat on and do that, all right? Now, here's what I'm gonna bring all this together for you. We heard this once this week. I forget who it was that said it. It might have been Kim Melia when she was talking about mindset versus skill set. But the 5 steps to succeeding in life, to your lifestyle that you want, starts with your philosophies, right? Your philosophies, the way that you react to things, the way that you see things that happen, you know, those philosophies are going to lead to your attitude. And your attitude is going to lead to the actions that you take. And the actions that you take are going to lead to the results that you get. And the results that you get are going to lead to the lifestyle that you live. But the foundation to that working is your philosophies. How you react, you know, what are the principles that you have in place in your mind that have you react when things don't go the way they were supposed to go? See, I have a philosophy that nothing in life is good or bad. I read a book. Imagine that. We talked about personal development, right? The book that I read, I'll tell you the name of it. It's actually my favorite book of all time. It's called Jesus CEO. It's by a lady named Lori Beth Jones. And the premise of the book is it talks about Jesus's leadership skills and how to apply them into today's business, into today's life. Now, maybe you're not into that. I was into that. But I'm reading this book, and let me tell you guys this story. I was going through a very, very tough time in my life. I'm going to be transparent with you here. My wife and I had actually separated for about 4 months. I had moved back in with my dad. And while I'm living at my dad's house, I'm watching, and these two things happened to me within a week. I'm watching TV with my dad, and I forget what the show was. It was like, you know, Entertainment Tonight or 2020 or something like that. And they did this quick little snippet about how this lady went to New York City on vacation. She ended up getting mugged, pistol whipped, and shot. And she said it was the greatest day of her life. Right? And then it broke to commercial. They come back, they air the story. Sure enough, all that stuff did happen to her. However, when they took her to the hospital from all that happening to her, under their x-rays or CAT scans or whatever it is they did, they realized and found that she had early stages of ovarian cancer and basically saved her life. So that happened to me, right? And then I'm reading this book. Jesus CEO. And in this book, there's a story that says a man bought a stallion. And all his friends said, that's good. The next day, the stallion ran away. And all his friends said, that's bad. And then the stallion came back and brought a bunch of mares with it. And all his friends said, that's good. And then his son tried to ride the stallion and got thrown off and broke his shoulder. And all his friends said, that's bad. And then a war broke out, and his son could not go to war because of the broken shoulder. And of course, all his friends said, that's good. What's the moral of the story? The moral of the story is we can't really determine what's good and what's bad because we don't know ultimately what the plan is. So I never deem anything that happens in my life anymore as good or bad, right? When something goes sideways on me and I don't expect it, I just go, isn't that interesting? I wonder where this is going to go. Because here's what I found out, is every event that happens in your life leads to an event that's going to lead to another event that eventually will lead to an event that is beneficial to you. And that's just a philosophy that I adopted that really has taken my stress level and put it down there. The book name again is Jesus CEO by Lori, and it's L-A-U-R-I-E, Lori Beth Jones. Okay, Jesus CEO by Lori Beth Jones. So, you know, just a philosophy. But when you have those philosophies, you know, Jim Rohn gives us philosophies like, it's not the blowing of the wind that matters, it's the set of your sail, right? The same wind blows on us all. How you set your sail is what matters. Okay? It's not the way you look at things, because the way you look at things, how's the phrase go? When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at will change, right? One of my favorite philosophies. Because sometimes I'm not looking at things the way I need to look at them. So your philosophies are important. And that comes right down to personal development that we talked about, right? Your why, your mindset, all this stuff that we gave you. And we talked so much about it because it's the philosophies that you have in your life that are the foundation to everything else. See, the 5 things I gave you, without philosophies and good philosophies, you're not going to have a good attitude. And if you don't have a good attitude, you're not going to take good actions. And if you don't take good actions, you're not going to get good results. And if you don't get good results, you're not going to live a good lifestyle. So the foundation, and the reason we spent so much time talking about the things that we talked about, you know, this week, right? To get your mind right and to get your you ready mentally for what you're going after, because it's your philosophies that drive everything else, right? You can build a house in the sand, but it won't stand very long. You have to put down a good foundation for that. All right, so let's see here. Be committed to what it is that you're going after, right? Be committed. Everything in life, guys, is priorities, whether you realize it or not. Everything we do is a priority. When you get up in the morning, the things that you do in your routine that you have prioritized those things that you do to get ready for your day. And then you prioritize the things that you do throughout the course of the day. And a lot of you probably just do it without even thinking about it. But everything is priorities. The word can't, I would really recommend that you just dismiss that word from your vocabulary as much as possible. Because very seldom does somebody say to me, hey, I can't do whatever, and that's actually a true statement, right? If you invite somebody over for a get-together, barbecue you're having, and they say to you, well, I can't come over because I promised my mom that I would go and cut her grass. It's not that they can't come. It's that their higher priority is to keep their word to their mother. Right? So, understand that everything is priority. The same person that says, hey, I can't come to your barbecue because I promised my mom I would go cut her grass, is walking out the door to go to their mom's house, trips down the stairs and falls and breaks their leg. Where are they going now? They're going to the hospital now. What just happened? Their priorities changed, right? So everything is priorities. And I say that to you because when I understood this and I applied this into my life, and I started catching myself saying, I can't do this or I can't do that. And it was like, oh no, it's not that I can't do it. It's actually that I'm choosing not to do that because this is a higher priority. And that's okay, right? The people that work with me, they know not to come to me and tell me they can't do something. Right? Ted and Lisa work with me. Ted, is that a fair statement? You guys don't ever say, hey, well, we can't do that.
Not anymore, we don't.
Right. So we're going to call you out on it every time, right? You can come to me and say, hey, look, I'm not going to do this because this is a higher priority. And I would rather you say that, because what you're doing is you're now telling yourself the truth. And when you tell yourself the truth, that's a part of your personal development. What we say to ourselves is important. So, be committed and understand that everything is a priority. And at some point, for you to succeed at whatever it is you're doing to build your better life, you're going to have to make that a priority. It may not have to be the top priority, but it's going to have to be in the top 3. Right? I live mine. My priorities in life are faith, family, and finance. That's the way I live them. Faith, family, and finance. What's the third one? Finance. They kind of go hand in hand because I work on my finances for my family, and so I can tithe for my faith. So they all work hand in hand for me. But understand that until you make your goals, your why, your desires a priority, it's not going to happen. You got to make it a priority. You can't let everything else be a higher priority than what it is that you want. And you can do it in short time. You don't have to make it a priority for 10 years. You can do it in chunks. We were always taught to push for 90 days at a time. Right? Hey, this is what I'm going to do, and I'm going to do this for 90 days. It's going to be a priority for me for 90 days. Then Mike Melia talked about plan, do, and review, right? You plan it, you do it, and then you review it. So after 90 days, you review it and go, okay, what worked, what didn't work, what can I do better, what can I change? So you got to make sure that you make things a priority. Now, I want to give you some tips for some of you that may be taking my consideration of a direct sales company to heart. Because I'm going to just tell you a direct sales company, and I'm not promoting any particular one. A direct sales company is going to put you right in the heart of great laws of associations, right? You're going to have a support team immediately. You're going to have success-minded people around you right away, right? You're going to start learning things that you're not going to learn out there somewhere else, okay? It's a very good thing, but you want to find one that fits for you. You want to find one that you can be passionate about, right? That's doing something that really means something to you. But we've all heard it, right? Oh, is that one of those pyramid schemes? Is that a Ponzi scheme? Is that, right? That's a lot of direct sales companies get that right away. And there are some of those out there. And this is why I want to give you these quick tips, okay? When you're evaluating a direct sales company, I have 5, maybe 6 things here, tips that I want to give you, okay? Number one, ask yourself when you're looking at that company, is it an established company or is it a startup? Because if it's a startup, and we've all heard that too before, oh, you want to get on the ground floor, right? You want to get on the ground floor and make a whole bunch of money. But the reality is most businesses never get started up. It's like 80% of businesses go out of business in their first 5 years in the country. So when you go with a startup, while it may have the possibility of being a big return, it's more likely that it's going to be a flop. You just have to know that. You're a guinea pig in a situation like that. So check the company out. Is it a startup or is it established? That's important. Number 2, check the customer to the distributor ratio. This is important if you're looking at a direct sales company. Because if they have just as many customers as they have distributors, what that means is people are just becoming distributors just so they can buy the product cheaper. And this is where you start to get that little gray area of, you know, hey, is it really a business opportunity or is it just people laundering money amongst each other and getting products cheaper, right? And this is where the FTC starts checking companies out. I can just tell you that's a big thing with the Federal Trade Commission is if they have just as many customers as they have distributors, that's a red flag. You just have to know that. All right. Number 3, does the product stand on its own? Meaning, would you buy that product if there was no compensation plan attached? Would you tell somebody about that product if you didn't get paid to do that? Okay, these are all litmus tests for checking out a good company. Okay, does it have a true residual income? I always tell people this one because a lot of companies out there will tell you they have residual income and they don't really have residual income. What they have is a passive override income. If you build a sales force, a distributor team, and those people are out there selling products or their team are buying products and that money is still coming in, but as soon as that team stops selling or those people stop buying on the team, then that money stops. Okay, so does it have a true residual income? What does that mean? If I sell the product and I don't recruit anybody, am I going to continue to get paid on that product? Last one. Do you have to recruit people in order to move up and make money? Do you have to recruit people in order to move up and make money? Okay, a good direct sales company would have a product that you could go out and market and make decent money just marketing the product and would allow you to move higher in the compensation plan based on how much product you moved. If you have to recruit people in order to move up, in order to make more money, that's a red flag. Okay, so those are my 5 tips on evaluating a direct sales company for you when you go out and do that. All right. Really, I pretty much think that's all I have for you tonight. I do have Ted and Lisa Snyder on here that I want you to hear from. I've had the great pleasure and honor of working with this couple for the last year. And when I say working with them, I mean I talk to them every day. Right? 5 days a week at least, sometimes 6, 7 days a week. and stuff like that. But I mean, I talk to them directly. I've seen what has happened, and I'm going to let them share their story, but I'm going to tell you guys, the principles that you got this week, this couple particularly took these principles and applied them into their everyday life. And in 1 year, it was just July last year that I met Ted Snyder. And I had known Lisa a little while before that, but I met Ted. And they came together and said, hey, you know what? We're really ready for a better life. And we gave them the principles that we gave you guys this week. And their whole life has changed in a year. So I just asked them to get on here tonight and just share with you their stories. So Ted and Lisa, I appreciate you getting on. Would you just share with everybody, this week, the things that you've learned here? How'd you learn them before? What has it meant to you? How did you apply them? What's your life look like before? What's it look like now? Share your story with us.
Yeah, well, absolutely, Bill. It's funny that we're ending this course talking about law of associations, because I think out of everything that we talked about this week, law of associations is a thing that we actually learned before we even met you. It's part of the reason why we found you, is because, we were at church, 5 or 6, 7, 8, probably 8 years ago now. And our pastor just said that the 5 closest people to you are going to be, where your life goes. And I remember we had some hard conversations after that. We actually had to cut out some friendships that just weren't healthy for us, people that weren't driven to actually see success. And when we did that, when we cut out some of the old relationships and replaced them with ones that were going to move us forward, we saw things happen in our lives. Like ministry took off. It was awesome. It was incredible. And bounce a little bit forward now. Lisa, why don't you share a little bit what happened then?
Yeah, so our background is in ministry. We've been a part of our church for 12 years, and Ted was doing full-time ministry. And about a year and a half ago, we realized that while we loved what we were doing and we were doing it successfully, we weren't partnering together in the way that we really wanted to. On top of that, Ted was working Saturday and Sunday, along with other days and a lot of evenings. I had kids were at school Monday through Friday during the day. We didn't have family time. We were living on a nonprofit salary, and we were making it, but it was every month, every penny, everything all the time. And I really started to look for something that we could just kind of add in a little bit. And really what Bill said in terms of evaluating different things, really do your homework, because it does make a difference. But that was a couple of years before, and about a year and a half ago, we just hit a point where we looked at each other and we said, we are building a life, but it's not the life that we want. Mm-hmm. And we started to kind of figure out what our options were, and we wanted to stay in ministry. We wanted to work together at home. We wanted to have our kids at home. We wanted all these different things. And we realized that if we could get the right people around us, and if we could find the right thing to partner in together, that it would make all of it possible. And so we started kind of formulating this plan together. And in July 1st last year, Ted was able to step out of ministry full time. We've been working together. We homeschool our kids, and we are really actively pushing, but we are building the life that we want. And you should talk about it now versus before.
So, what life looks like now for it, just a recap, before I was only home when my kids weren't home. And that was a big problem for me. And we still wanted to do ministry, but my family is my first ministry. And so I needed to make sure that was what was going on there. And we knew that if we were going to take this jump, that we needed to be surrounded by the right people.
Yes.
That was really what it came down to. And I remember looking at Lisa and saying, hey, you know what? I don't really know this Bill guy very well, but he's already done the successful stuff. He's living the life that we kind of want. He's raised his daughter being home with her, both parents at home with their daughter. So we're like, he's done the thing. Mm-hmm. And he knows how to motivate people and all that kind of stuff. He seems like he's very wise. Let's just see if he'd be willing to talk to us once a week or once a day. Once a day. And he was like, yeah, let's do it. And so we just religiously called every single morning for the last.
And listen, let me interrupt you just a second, Ted.
Yeah.
Because they did something, guys, that made me say, okay, prior to that. I had not met Ted. I had met Lisa already, but I had not met Ted. And they told me what they wanted to accomplish. And they live in Minnesota. I live in North Carolina, so it's not like you. We can just run across the street and meet each other. And I said to them, okay, if you're serious, like they had this conversation, hey, this is what we want to do. And I was like, if you're serious and you want me to work with you and mentor you, I'm going to be in Cocoa Beach, Florida in July. And I want you to come to this seminar in Cocoa Beach, Florida. And you want to know something? They immediately said, okay, right? I knew they were coachable right away and came to Florida. So anyway, sorry, I felt like that was an important thing to point out.
Well, no, that definitely was, because I mean, for us, there was a decision point, you know, where we said, we know we have all the things lined up. Like well, most of the things. We didn't know how we were going to get to Cocoa Beach, but we were like, we'll figure that out.
Mm-hmm.
But there was a decision point where we said, we need to make a change. We know we need the right associations. We know that, you know, this specific business is what we want to do. And then we just decided to go and do it.
Yeah.
And so now our life looks like I'm home every day of the week with the kids. We homeschool the kids. We hang out with them. I'll be working and my 3-year-old daughter will run into the office and like hug my leg randomly and then run back out and giggle. And it's like, I loved what I did before, but there's no salary or anything that could ever compare with that.
Mm-hmm.
And, but I just love that on top of that, we're also building our financial future and just our ability to do more ministry in the future as well. It's just, it's fantastic what the law of associations will do.
Yeah. So, I mean, Bill's talked about it, but really it is finding those right people. And then it's listening to them and trusting them, because
that's a big one. Because
it's really easy when you hear someone say, oh, you should show up to Cocoa Beach, for all the things to go through your head. Like, well, what about this? And what about this? And we have 3 kids and we have to find babysitting. And there's so many different pieces that go through your brain. But the fact of the matter is you're surrounded by the right people. And if you trust them, they're going to coach you in the right direction. Mm-hmm. So if you can trust what they're saying, it makes a huge difference. So anyway, we'll turn that back over to you, Bill. We are so eternally grateful for you. Mm-hmm. But yes, his advice has changed our lives.
Thank you very much. And guys, look, all we've taught them over the last year is what we taught you here in 5 days. Now what we did is we reiterated them over the course of the last year, right? We just kept talking about it, but we didn't teach them anything different. So as we get ready to close out here, and we'll open it up for any comments or questions or anything in just a second, understand that you have to embrace the struggle. You have to embrace this. See, people try to go away from the struggle, right? They try to avoid the struggle. They don't want any change, right? Let me just tell you something. The only thing that's never going to change is that there's always going to be change. That's the reality, okay? But the struggle is something that you have to embrace, not avoid. Great story for you. Guy walking through the woods, sees a cocoon on the side of a tree. He sees that there's a moth trying to get out of the cocoon. Human nature is to help. So he gets his pocket knife out. He very gently opens up the cocoon at the top, makes the hole bigger so the moth can crawl right out. The moth crawls right out, falls on the ground, and dies. Why is that? Because it's the struggle that the moth goes through that cleans the water off its wings and makes it strong enough to survive when it gets out. So guys, understand that the struggle is part of it. If you know anybody that's successful, they had a struggle in their life. I said it earlier this week. It's in my book. You heard it on the audio if you listened to it. Right? One of the principles. If you're going through hell, don't stop. Just keep going. Embrace that struggle. Know that it's part of it. And it's a sign that you're headed in the right direction. The harder something is for you to figure out how to get it done, the more you're going to get out of it when you get it done. So that's what I got for you guys tonight. Work on your why. Work on you. Get your mindset right. Get your goals set down. Continue your personal development. And change your law of associations for the better. I would recommend a direct sales company if you don't have any other avenues. But if you have other avenues, fine. Just make sure your law of associations are the right ones. That's what's important. So I appreciate you guys all joining us this week. I hope you found some value in what we brought to you. And I hope that you will, this week I saw you taking notes. I hope that you also took heed to what we taught you. And now I hope you will take action. Go out and apply it into what you want. So I'm going to unmute everybody here. And if you guys have anything you'd like to say. All right. Anybody with anything you'd like to say before we wrap up?
Great course, Bill. Thank you very much.
Go
All
ahead,
right.
I'm sorry.
Thank you, Wiley. Go ahead, Elizabeth. Let's go to you.
I just wanted to say thank you so much for including me and inviting me, and I've really enjoyed it. The goal setting was wonderful, and all of the steps after that, I've just really enjoyed it. Thank you.
Thank you. And you want to know something? I mean, the reality is you chose this. You chose to be here. I didn't call you up and invite you and say, hey, you should come and do this, right? I simply added her to a Facebook group. She saw it. She chose to be here this week. Guys, success is voluntary. If you want to succeed or whatever, you got to volunteer to be successful. So anybody else with any other comments?
Just thank you so much for everything.
My pleasure. Thank you, guys. Anybody else? We'll get wrapped up. No once?
I just want to say I'm super, super pumped to get more people onto the next one because everybody we know needs this.
Yeah.
And I need your help with that, guys. I mean, look, Elizabeth Judy is a great example of how simple this is. I literally made the Facebook group, added her to it. She saw the promotion of what we're doing, and she chose to be here, and she was here all 5 days. Okay? This is why I said to you, go add your people that you're friends with on Facebook to the Facebook group. We don't know who's going to be interested, who's not. But let's not be selfish and not at least give them the invitation. All right? Go add them to the Facebook group. Tell people in the Facebook group what you got out of this week. Help me promote what we did here. You guys were the first crew. So what you do coming out of this course, what you put out there that you got from this course, whether it was beneficial, whether it was worth your time, not worth your time, is going to determine where this course goes from here. The next one starts September the 15th. It's a Sunday night as well. And the pre-registration link is already out there. I think we already have 20 people signed up for that one. Okay? We can only put 100 on here. So if you know other people, add them to the group. If they accept the invitation, then they'll see what's going on, and some will choose to get on here and learn what we learned this week about how to go out and build a better life. So anybody else with any other final comments? All right. Matt, you got something to say?
Yeah, I just want to say it was excellent training. All 5 days was just phenomenal, and I look forward to doing it again with more people.
Fantastic, man. Thank you, guys. And again, you guys that came through all 5 that are here tonight, you're the cream of the crop. Here's what we know. We know that you really, truly want to build a better life. So now just go find the vehicle that you need, because you got to have a vehicle, something that produces an income, right? Whatever that may be for you, but go find the right vehicle for you and apply this, everything that we taught you here this week. All right? And let's get those people added to the Facebook group. Let's share what we're doing here. We're not asking anybody for anything. All we want to do is help people live a better life. So with that, guys, everybody, thank you for joining us. We hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you back here if you want to come through it again or tell some people. We're doing it again starting September the 15th. So everybody have a great night. God bless, and bye-bye for now.
Thanks, Bill. Have a good night. I don't know if you guys can hear me or not.
We can. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.